Hello, everybody. Hello. Um. Yeah. Everybody, welcome. Welcome to my show. This is Tea with Mr. B with me, Mr. B. Hello, everybody. Are you sure about this? Hello.
Audio is double layering. My bad. I heard you saying hello again. I was like, oh no.
Okay. All right. Cool. Hello everybody. I am Mr. B from The Adventures of Mr. B on TikTok, where I do like some, silly little D&D videos. And today's guest is the lovely Ben from BenDoesDnD.
Hello.
Ben, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi friends. It is me. It is Ben from BenDoesDnD. On the TikTok thing. I do other things too. It's kind of ironic that my username is BenDoesDnD, because D&D is a very small part of what I do now. I mean, well, it's a big part, obviously, but like, I do so many different things now. Obviously, I make D&D content. I make Star Wars content as well. I occasionally do Percy Jackson content. And I have some new things that will also be coming up soon as well. So, ooh, exciting.
Spicy. Yeah, just a little bit spicy. So yes, everybody, welcome. Today, the lovely BenDoesDnD has picked out our drink of choice for this evening, and Ben, why don't you tell us what you decided to grace us with?
Okay, so some context here. As you will all know, the show is called Tea with Mr. V. I don't actually drink tea. I don't really like tea. And, my next logical thing was, oh, well, if I don't drink tea, surely I could, do something like coffee maybe instead. I don't drink coffee either. So I thought, what could we both drink that would be totally fine that we could have on the show? I thought, you know what, I'll bend into the memes that we have on stream. And today, ladies and gents, we are drinking apple juice. And yes, I am drinking it from a Lego mug.
Yep, we are drinking some nice, lovely, crisp apple juice on my tea show.
It's great. It's beautiful.
It's great. It's awesome.
Oh, it is crisp.
Oh,
it's so nice.
A lovely crisp.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so, obviously, apple juice is, good for you, I guess.
It's juice from apples,
It's a juice from apples, I'm sure we can all get behind some juice from apples.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ben.
Hello.
Ben does D&D. Wow. Over 50,000 followers on the Tickety Talks.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal. Not gonna lie.
I'm really not, though. That's the thing. That's always something that's been so weird to me, is that, like, I do not think about that, like, at all. Like, I forget sometimes, and there have been a couple of times where I've been in conversations with people, because I love chatting to people. I love conversation. I love having a good time. And there's been a couple of times where I've been talking to people, and like you've said, oh, so you're like some sort of like big creator then, and like you're like one of the like OGs and stuff. I'm like, what? No? Am I? Am I? I don't know. I mean,
like from when you started, you said you joined like before the whole quarantine thing stuff. So
yeah,
that's when majority of people now join.
That is very true. We got a lot of lovely community members during kind of January, February time, kind of going into March and April. Like that's when a lot of people joined the community. I started doing it back in November, just like a fun thing, and it kind of took off pretty quickly. I think maybe like my second ever video that I posted is one of my ones that like super blew up, which I think is kind of what happened. I also think as well, I put a lot of it down to as much as we don't like it these days, TikTok's algorithm I think very much helped me at the time, because it was kind of in that standpoint of like, you had one video that did really well, and that's kind of all it took at that time to, like, blow up quite a bit, because that video would do super well, and then it would promote your other stuff, to which those would then blow up, and then just it would continue and continue, and that went for a while, and I was like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, because it is very much like your community itself has grown, and especially like a lot of your content, like you said, you don't just do like, you know, D&D, you do Star Wars, you do Percy Jackson, cosplay, like you're very like broad in like what you do. So like how is it like being a part of like so many different communities?
It can be, at times it can be a little bit stressful, just because, like, I love spending time with people all the time, and I'm kind of bad at time management as well. So, like, there will be certain groups of friends of mine that'll be like, oh yeah, we haven't seen you in, like, a week, and I'm like, yeah, sorry about that, I've been elsewhere. I've been with other people, so it's kind of like, it's nice when you're in one community, because kind of all your friends are all in one place, and like, whilst you all do your own separate things, you kind of all are meshed together, and like, you usually can all hang out together all the time. But when you're in different communities, it's like, I've got this group of people over here, and I got this group of people over here, and I want to hang out with both of them. What do? But no, there's a ton of positives to it as well. I've made a ton of friends through it. Like, it's so many of the communities on TikTok are so overwhelmingly welcoming, and I think the two big ones that I got involved with were definitely kind of communities that were like on the rise as I joined them, like the two being, you know, D&D, which was starting to take off as I started out, and then the Star Wars community as well, specifically Rising Order. If you guys know the hashtag Rising Order, we have merch now strategically placed. My camera's flipped, so you can't read it properly. I've just realized, but yeah,
it's okay. There's merch. It's awesome.
But yeah, no, it's they're both lovely communities, and I love everyone in them to death, and I love making content for both of them. It's great.
Yeah, it's definitely great, and like a lot of your content is of the highest of quality content. Love your content.
I'm glad you think that, because sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, like, you put in, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I've seen you, like, you know, do like film sessions and stuff, like here and there. Like, how long does it usually take for like you to make some of those videos?
I mean, it kind of depends what I'm making, because there's definitely, with TikTok specifically, there's the kind of videos, I found for a while that a lot of the stuff I was making for Star Wars was quote-unquote easier, or like less time consuming, because they were mostly all like one-take videos, where it's like, okay, you start the video, you do the thing for 15 seconds, and then it's done. Whereas with a lot of the D&D skit videos I was making, I was having to cut between characters, and as someone who has okay lighting and is a little bit of a perfectionist, doing each shot 2 or 3 times at least, those ones do take a while for sure. Those videos definitely did take a lot longer, but I think are definitely the ones that people enjoy the most, and so that's why I keep making them, because I enjoy them and other people seem to love them. So
yeah, it's definitely worth that effort. You know,
okay, absolutely.
Love to see those people enjoy everything. So, yeah, you said you started in like November, but how did you get started on the internet in general?
On the internet in general?
Like,
okay.
I know some things. I want other people to know some things.
You know some things? Oh god, I'm worried about what Benjamin. Things... Oh no. Okay, well that's... Alright, that's not really a secret. If anyone has seen me in chat on Twitch, you've seen my username, Gaming Benjamin. That is a username that I went by for 7-8 years, and I'm still known in other communities as Gaming Benjamin. Like, that is... If it weren't for the success I've had on TikTok, I would still consider Gaming Benjamin my main, like, name that I go by, and then just, BenDoesDnD is a separate thing. BenDoesDnD was something I created specifically for TikTok, for it to be different and kind of away. And because when back in November, it was kind of before that time where TikTok was normalized, where everyone's like, oh yeah, TikTok's fun, we like TikTok, TikTok's great. Back in November, which is weird to say, November was back when it was like, oh, TikTok? What, you mean that cringe site where you have kids dancing to weird music and lip syncing? Ugh, trash. Ugh. Like, that's, you know, a lot of people saw it like that. That was the mainstream opinion, you know, like, you'd see videos on YouTube all the time, just like, oh, TikTok cringe and stuff like that, and that's, you know, that's all you'd see. That was the general opinion of TikTok, that it was just cringe. So I decided to get a different username, just so it was slightly different, kind of a fresh start, and yeah, I went from there. But as for the Gaming Benjamin handle, as you can tell, I'm super creative with my usernames because they both have my name in them. Yeah, Gaming Benjamin started ages ago. That must have been, yeah, probably about 8 years now. I started making Minecraft videos as wannabe YouTubers do when they're 13, 14 years old. I had huge inspirations from people like Yogscast, who over the years I've had the privilege of meeting multiple times. Lovely people. Big inspiration from them. And, you know, from that expanded into other games and made friends through gaming community there. I actually ended up playing with quite a few people who then went on to be big creators who are still like big creators today, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I did that for a while, basically used every method under the sun to try and get subscribers, some of which I'm not proud of. But, you know, what are you going to do?
Who did you start beef with?
Not even that, like, just, you know, just bottom of the barrel content that's just like, you know, borderline clickbait, but not, you know, like, ugh.
Yeah.
But no, there was definitely, I definitely had some good times with that as well, because that definitely introduced me to my love of editing. I used to do a lot of like funny moments content, like trying to think, like, who are good examples of that? People like, you know, like Soviet Womble, Misfits more recently as well, like with just like funny momentsy type content, with like lots of subtitles and stuff like that. I very much enjoyed that kind of content, just jumping on with friends, having fun, having some genuine hilarious moments, and then just going back and editing them. But just over time, going through an entire recording of like, you know, like a 30-minute game of Counter-Strike and finding one funny joke, it's so time consuming, man. It's so time consuming.
I can imagine.
But yeah, that's kind of where I started, really. And then November was like, hey, I can make entertaining, funny memes with somewhat okay editing software that only has to be 15 seconds. I can do that. And I did.
So your TikTok, did it grow more than, you know, what your YouTube career started at?
Yes, absolutely. Within a month, I think I had more TikTok followers than YouTube subscribers. I think I peaked on YouTube at maybe just below 5K. And then like since then, like I've not uploaded in like months now, probably the best part of a year. But I'm down to like 3 point something K. You know, and it was at the point where I was like uploading content and like I was still like losing followers, even though I was gaining some. I was still it was still a net loss. But like that was understandable because like, again, not proud of it. Hi, guys, I'm doing a CS:GO knife giveaway. Come subscribe to my channel. God, it was dark days, dark times. Glad to be away from that.
Back in the day, things weren't so bright.
Yeah, no, they really were not looking so bright for old Gaming Benjamin. They were not.
Good old Gaming Benjamin.
Oh,
But
God.
yeah, now you have your new name, which you go by a lot, BenDoesDnD,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is appropriate because I would like to think you play D&D.
I do.
If anybody
I
else
love
is familiar
D&D.
with this channel,
I love
they might see.
D&D, man. I love it so much.
So-
It's so good.
So like, how did you get started playing D&D?
Okay, so I got started playing D&D with... I guess I was introduced to it through a bunch of friends of mine. Well, actually, no. I know exactly where it came from. So, I was actually introduced by it by, again, going back to the Yogscast, who I still follow and still big fans of and still love all of their work. They started a stream back in 2016, I want to say, where they were like, hey, we're doing this in our spare time. We think people might be interested in it because, board games are kind of coming back. And I think with kind of a little bit of the success of Critical Role, they're kind of like, oh, maybe we could try this. Maybe this would do well. And they've played D&D every Sunday since then. They're on their second campaign now, about a year into it, I think, and I still try and watch it as much as possible. I'm a little bit behind on the minute, mostly because I've started watching Critical Role campaign too. So keeping up with 2 campaigns a week on top of everything else is a struggle, It's a struggle. Especially when you can't, dedicate, I know a lot of people I'll just watch it live and I'll just dedicate those 3 hours to just watching it or having it on in the background. Problem is, it's 5 a.m. for me, so I'm not awake, so I have to watch it as a VOD, which is easier to just put down and do something else if you get easily distracted like I do. But yeah, I basically got introduced to D&D through that, and I thought, this is really cool. This is, a game about mostly imagination, which is great, because I like to think that I have a large imagination, so making characters and doing stuff was really cool with that. And yeah, no, I became very interested in it and watching streams of it all the time. And then a group of friends of mine who I met at gaming events that I went to were like, we like D&D, we've been playing D&D for a little bit, why don't you play D&D with us? And I did that, and yeah, it was good fun. When we would go to these events, we'd dedicate one evening where we would just play D&D the whole evening. I think we did what was supposed to be a one-shot. I think our DM told us this is going to be a 2-hour one-shot. 7 hours later, we decided that we were too tired to continue and have to continue the next day, which then we played for another 3, possibly 4 hours. Well, for something that was supposed to be a 2-hour one-shot.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So that was fun. That's the thing, that can sound, to some people that sounds like a nightmare. I was having a whale of a time. Until I got literally so tired that I couldn't think. I was having a whale of a time, it's great. Because it's basically just bantering back and forth with your friends for hours on end, just in character, it's great. And yeah, that was what I did. I did that for several years, and then we started playing online a little bit as well. And then I got introduced to it a lot more because I saw the coming into TikTok definitely improved my the amount of times that I played D&D, because it would be very few and far between, once or twice a week maybe, and that was only so recently as a year ago. And then got introduced to TikTok through my lovely girlfriend, Sab, who is in chat. Hello, Sab. Hi.
Hello, Sab.
Yeah, Sab is... You have Sab to blame for me, because she quite literally was sending me TikToks pretty much daily, and then when I went over to hers, I think for the first time... Yeah, because it was in August of last year that I got TikTok. I went over, I made the mistake of leaving my phone in her room whilst I went to the bathroom, and I came back and she was looking through it, which was fine. She had my I have no issue with that. And instead of, oh, who have you been texting? She just looked up and went, yeah, I've downloaded TikTok on your phone. You've got it now. Congrats. I was like, okay. All right, fine. And then I literally sat down, opened the app, searched D&D, and then proceeded to spend the next, 3 hours just looking at D&D memes on TikTok. It was great. No, it was great. Like, from there, I think literally on that first day, I'm pretty sure Sab will back me up on this, I was like, yeah, I should make content like this would be cool, I'd like to do this. Like, literally with 3 hours ago being like, I don't need the app on my phone to right, cool, so I'm gonna make my own channel, do my own content now. Within the space of 3 hours, pure laziness, I think, was what stopped me from downloading it. But yeah, from there, I think it took until, November. I made a couple of videos before November, but it took that space from August to November to actually, watch more content, get a, feel for what people were doing, and then kind of, persuade myself that it didn't matter that it was cringe at the time, or it was seen that it was cringe, and that I could just enjoy it and just keep it quiet. And I did that. And I've not regretted it since, because I love it. It's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. You know, it's always fun to hear what someone how they started, and because everybody has their own little thing, if they started through family, if they started through going to a random game shop and that kind of stuff. So what has been in the years that you've played D&D, what's been some of your favorite moments that you've experienced?
Oh, dude, honestly, a lot of them have been within the past 6 months. Because that's the thing, is that playing when you play with the same group for a long time, you kind of get used to the general vibe of it, and you kind of get into it. But then when you come into a community as massive and vast as this, where you just get to play with loads of different people all the time, and they all have super different, wacky, hilarious characters. They've genuinely been I've pretty much come out of every game and been holy shit, that's some of the best D&D I've ever played. But if I had to pin it down to a couple of moments, there was a one-shot that we did off-stream, that I did with Aaron, Obsidian Olive, Abby, Clueless DM. I can't remember who else was in that game, but I know that Kevin, Dice Cream Sandwich, was running the one shot for us, and it was kind of a final boss one shot, and it was looking really rough for us. I think I was down. Aaron wasn't doing too well, and it basically came down to Abby had to do a divine intervention, and I think there was something it was either, I can't remember what it is. It's either 20% or 5% chance of a divine intervention working. I can't remember the exact.
It's you have to roll below your level.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I think we were level, I think this was maybe a level 15 one shot, I want to say. Yeah, because I think I took 10 levels of Warlock and then 5 levels of Fighter. So we were 15, so I should roll below 15. And I remember this was a make or break moment. This was I think we're gonna have a TPK if this doesn't work. This was a last ditch effort. And I remember she rolled the dice and literally just burst into tears and showed us the dice tray, and she'd actually done it. And it was such a mega moment. She was crying, I was crying. It was such an amazing moment. And what made it even more hilarious was Kevin was like, okay, great, who's your deity again? She was like, oh yeah, it's Danny DeVito. Sorry. That's so Abby though, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, yeah, you hear a voice from above, just an echoing voice, I'm the trash man. and you all get, I think it was 900 HP between us, so we basically all got pretty much restored to full health, and we then managed to complete the one shot and not die. But we would have surely been absolutely ruined if it weren't for that. And then I think my other favorite moment, probably my absolute favorite moment, which I managed to catch on a stream, which is great, so you can all go back and rewatch it, was during my first ever streamed game, which was again with Kevin. Absolutely love Kevin. Great DM. Love all of the stuff that he does. And it was when I was playing my tiefling character, Tarek, and he had come to me before the game. So the premise of the game, for those who don't know, was it was a heist mission where we had to steal an item from a vault, and Kevin basically came to me about an hour before the stream and was like, hey, so I want you to go behind everyone's backs for me and try and steal the item for yourself, because I've read your backstory stuff and I think it would work. And I was like, yep, cool, I'm gonna do that. That sounds great and would totally work with my character. And there was a bunch of very hilarious stuff on that stream, especially my character now goes by Tim because of a meme that happened during that stream. But I think my favorite moment, like all the Tim stuff was hilarious, but I think my favorite moment was when the betrayal happened, because there was just such a wave of emotion that just went through me, because I think especially because it was my first game as well, and we had so many people watching, because this stream reached a lot of people, because someone had taken the video that Kevin had used to announce the stream, and they'd put it in a YouTube TikTok compilation that had got like 30,000 views, so like a ton of people showed up to the stream. And so it came to the moment where we were doing the betrayal, and I turned to one of my fellow players, Feral, who was also she was a blue tiefling, played by our other lovely friend who is also in chat, Game Raider Girl. Yeah, and I basically was like, yeah, so I'm gonna betray everyone. Want to come with me? She obviously said no. We're not doing that. I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go. And then I basically went to basically just betray everyone, and that was a rough moment, because everyone had been cheering my character on in chat for so long, and all of my fellow players absolutely loving the character, and then I betrayed them all, and they were like, no, I can't believe you've done this, and chat absolutely lost it. Chat was so upset, and
Yeah.
I kind of almost broke character for a moment, and I'm kind of glad that I did, because it came down to me going, oh, I really can't follow through with this. This is fucked. I can't do this. Like, I feel so awful. But then I had this really good moment where Tarek was about to leave. He turns around, sees the face of his friend, or his colleague, looking so betrayed, and he just has a moment of just, all right, fuck it, we're staying here. And that was like the beginning of his redemption arc, which was absolutely just an absolute roller coaster of emotions. Just the betrayal and then the redemption, and it was all topped off by the fact that during that session in the vault, I'd picked up this lovely hammer, which I usually have by my side, but I put up here. This lovely hammer right here that I now have an actual version of due to that stream.
Good old
yeah,
Mjolnir.
I picked up Mjolnir in the vault. That there were a bunch of Marvel themed items, and I got this, and it was great. And because when I had my redemption, I was having a moment where I was like, oh, I don't know what weapon to use, because I could use Mjolnir, but I could also use my my glaive that I have, and like I'm not sure what to use. And whilst I was umming and ahhing over what to use, Kevin's like, you hear a voice, and Odin then speaks to me and was like, are you worthy to possess the power of Thor? And he's like, yeah, all your stats have been boosted, it's basically your pact weapon now. And that was just such an amazing moment, that I'm so glad we were able to catch it on stream, which all led to me then Mjolnir then becoming a big part of his character and his redemption, and is actually the reason I got this hammer. Like, I'm not a massive Thor person, like, when it comes to, like, Marvel, I'm just not a massive Thor person. I genuinely got this hammer because of that character and because of that stream. Like, it's such an amazing moment for me, and I'm so glad that I've got that to kind of remember that stream by. So, yeah, I think that's my kind of all-time favorite moment, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think I remember the memes going around about that stream for like a while, especially Tim. Like
Tim was
Tim
great. I loved
Tim has
that.
got to be like my favorite part.
Yeah, I absolutely loved that part, and I think as a general theme throughout the stream, that was like really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was just that specific moment that I really enjoyed and really stuck with me.
It was a really good, like, D&D session. Really good D&D. But yeah.
Let's switch to my second mug now, which ironically has tea on it, but it has apple juice in it.
You know what? We roll with it at this point. Like, I've given up. I've given up at this point. You broke me.
I haven't eaten any of the biscuits yet. Although I told Dante I was gonna do this. I told him I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put it in the apple juice. And you can't stop me. So when you least expect it, V, I'm gonna do it. When you least expect it.
Alright. You know what? You do you, Ben. You do you at this point. I can't stop you.
Yeah, you can't.
But yeah, we'll keep going a little bit about D&D. Just because I also want to know. Like, you've been playing, for a while, and you've had, like, really good moments. So, like, with everything that's happened with D&D, how do you feel like D&D has, like, helped you as a person?
Oh, dude, it's been such an amazing, like, creative outlet. Like, so I am slightly cursed in the fact that I have what I like to think is a very creative mind, where I'm very much an ideas person. I have a lot of, crazy fun ideas, for, like, characters and things and stuff like that. But whenever I've tried to write, like, I do enjoy writing. Like, I do very much enjoy it, but I'm cursed in the fact that I'm dyslexic, so writing is hard, and when you try and put those two things together, it doesn't really work. Like, a creative mind that wants to do writing, and then dyslexia, they just don't go together, and I've tried multiple times. I've written the intro to about 3 different books, and then just given up, because I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But D&D has really helped me with that creative outlet, because it's so improv, and I've realized that's what I enjoy the most, and that's what works for me so well, is creating improv stories and just, like, going with it, and just, like, having creative characters that I can just make up on the spot, and you can just do creative things and funny things just on the spot. And yeah, no, it's definitely helped me grow as a person as well. It's definitely helped me, like, expand and be more what's the word? Be more kind of a bit more out there as a person, because I used to be a very shy person, which a lot of people who know me now wouldn't be able to believe. But, like, I used to be a very shy and quiet person that didn't really talk much, and, like, through definitely a lot through, like, doing the YouTube stuff in the early years, and then kind of coming into stuff like this has definitely helped me grow and become, more of a more confident person. That's the word I was looking for. More, like, confident person, just through playing and just hanging out with people and just doing things. And yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot in that regard. Yeah,
that's awesome. It's good to hear how D&D in itself it goes past being a game.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
it makes you feel things.
Definitely.
Like, 100%. Like, when you can get into that creative mindset, because that's the thing with D&D, and I'm glad a lot more people are starting to get it, because I think the reason it was kind of outlawed for so long was because so many people were just closed off, and they were like, but it's not real. It's not a real thing. I'm like, yeah, but it's all theater of the mind, and a lot of people would just kind of be blank-faced and be like, I don't get it. It's not a real thing. But when you can feel things and, like, care and, like, feel joy and sadness and anger for these just imaginary things that just aren't real. This imaginary, person that's, like, hurting your character or hurting your character's friends, who's just been made up by the person who's running the game. You can feel genuine emotions about your character and that character's friends and that character's foes. That's when you realize, okay, yeah, this is more than a game. Like, this is this makes you feel things, and I think that's great. I think it's
Yeah, exactly. It's it's lovely to see how it's all grown. And
Mhm.
like, yeah, from like when I started, like all those years ago, is when it was those moments where it's just like you'd have to play it, where people like exactly out of like the public eye, and be like organizing it, like when it was still like, oh, you can't exactly play
You
it
play
in like,
D&D,
you might be,
nerd.
yeah. And, it's now it's coming into like, yeah, the limelight
Now
through
it's cool
like
to be a
other
nerd.
people,
So
like, yeah. And like you said, like we got things coming in now, like the Yorks cosplaying it, Critical Role, and the High Rollers. I'm pretty sure is the one that
yeah,
you're
that's
into.
under
Like,
Yogscast. Yeah, that's their
yeah,
show name, High Rollers. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and like how do you feel that about these, like coming in with like these bigger people becoming more popular? It's like, how do you feel like that's affected like D&D itself?
Massively. Like, I think what will have happened, whilst I'm not usually a big fan of celebrities having such an effect on what people do and say, I would be very interested to see if something like Critical Role and like High Rolls and stuff had been taken away, to see what the effect would have been, because I guarantee, like, either it would only just be starting to be somewhat kind of underground popular now as nerd culture takes over, or it would just be completely just like, oh, you're a nerd, you play D&D, ugh. But like, I think a lot of people kind of saw, oh, Matt Mercer, I know that guy, he's playing Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, I guess I'll pay attention, and then people actually saw it for what it was and went, okay, this is really cool, these stories are amazing, and that definitely signal boosted it a lot, I think, so it definitely had a big effect, which is great.
Yeah, that's great. So we'll move a little bit away from D&D now and talk about like the other big part of you and your content. So Star Wars.
Star Wars, man. Oh boy, Star Wars.
The other big nerd culture
Heck
that is
yes.
going around. Like, what? Thank you, Ben. Thank you. And, we've got the Kylo Ren in the background as well.
Oh yeah, the helmet.
So obviously, I know about Star Wars. People who don't know about Star Wars probably aren't even watching this stream.
Yeah.
But like, what is Star Wars to you, Ben? What is Star Wars?
Okay, Star Wars is one of those things that I just grew up with, I think, and it was just one of those kind of fun action series that were, so great. And the thing is with Star Wars is that it's been around for so long. Like, you think, oh, the 9th movie's, like, pretty much only just come out. But, like, it's been around for so long, because, like, the original trilogy was made in, like, when was the original trilogy made? Like, so long ago.
Is it, like, the 1980s? About?
Maybe,
yeah.
Like, maybe that long ago. I'm not sure. But, yeah, like, something like that. And, like, it's been around for so long, so it's been, like, an influence, like, over generations. And it's stuck around, like, for a long time, and it's definitely had an influence. And, like, I mean, realistically, who doesn't think that a massive laser sword that flashes different colors is cool? Like, when, like, who wouldn't think that was cool?
Yeah.
I definitely watched a lot of I watched the original trilogy a couple of times, but I watched a lot of the prequels mostly. I think I still have Phantom Menace on VHS.
VHS.
Yeah, I know, man, crazy. But the great thing about that was when I rewatched the Star Wars films on Disney Plus recently. Yoda, obviously in the original films, was a puppet, and in the original I think only Phantom Menace, I think he was animated in Clone Wars onwards.
Yeah.
But certainly in the first prequel film, he was a puppet to begin with. But then they did a re-release in, I think, 2005 or something like that, where he was animated again. And I'd never seen that version, because of course I'd watched the VHS version to the point where, you know, it almost doesn't work anymore, where it was a puppet. So going back and seeing those scenes all these years later, a film I know, you know, beat for beat, seeing something different was just like, whoa, that's so weird, but like cool at the same time. Like, he's animated, that's so crazy. And I remember, because the reason I was rewatching it was because I was watching it with Sab, who at that point had not seen any of the movies at all, which I was like, this has got to change. We're going to watch all 9 films.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that first film with her and like freaking out that like Yoda was animated, and she was just sat there like, what? Why is that cool? I don't get it. I don't. He's animated. What's so great about that? It's like, you don't understand. He's animated.
You don't know the lore.
You don't know. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's definitely a big thing growing up. I am currently rewatching, I know a big thing for a lot of Star Wars fans was the Clone Wars TV show, which has been around for so long, which started with the movie, which I did see when it came out. I think it was 2006 it came out. Pretty sure I went to the cinema to see the movie. And it was really good film, really enjoyed it. Introduced a very popular character, Ahsoka Tano, which people absolutely love to death. But I just never really watched the TV show, just purely because I never had like Disney Channel and stuff like that, which was usually where it was on. So I missed a lot of that, but I saw bits and pieces. And as I'm now rewatching the series I'm up to about series 3. Yeah, I'm on about season 3 at the moment. I'm nearing the end of season 3 as I'm like binge watching it now that I've got Disney Plus. But I'm like seeing bits and bobs because I had a friend who was very into Star Wars and very into Clone Wars as we were growing up. And I was good friends with him. And I remember it would like always be on like in the background when I would go over. Whenever it was like the day for it to be on. And I just remember just like bits and pieces that I just see every now and then. I'm like, I remember that bit from when I was like 10. I remember that. Just seeing that random bit. But yeah, no, I'm rewatching the series now. You know, obviously the new films, well, they're interesting to say the least.
We'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get it. That's a whole thing to unpack. Yeah, that's a whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy Star Wars, and I just think it's one of those things that's just really fun and was just something I grew up with. And you know, laser swords. What's there not to enjoy?
Laser swords are cool.
Laser swords are cool, especially when you spin them behind your back, because that's super useful.
Yeah, you know, we're the cool kids. We like laser swords. You know?
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we might touch on it just a little bit, just because I want to know your perspective. But Ben, I hope to God I stole you that biscuit. Is that just a biscuit?
Yes, it is. I dropped it.
Okay. I saw it and I had a mild panic attack. Alright.
No.
But yeah, you know, I'm curious to see your perspective on this. So like, what criticisms would you give Star Wars at this point in time?
Okay. So, I mean, the thing is as well with Star Wars is that like, and I think people kind of do this a lot these days, where they judge a lot of films, especially live action films, on their like realism, and don't really focus on the fact that it's just fun to like enjoy. Like, I know a debate we love to have all the time with a certain friend of ours is a lightsaber spinning move known as the Obi-Annie.
Yeah, we talked about that on previous episodes of TV.
Just, and how it's completely just non-useful for real combat. And I'm like, well, yeah, but fighting with laser swords is just, you're fighting with laser swords, man. Like, that's where you lose the realism. Like, you gotta just have fun with it, you know? Like, just like going through, like, I'm sure if you went through and analyzed, if it would actually, that, you know what, that would actually be hilarious to watch, and I guarantee those videos exist on YouTube. Someone who is very well trained in sword fighting going through and watching every Star Wars fight and being like, yeah, that wouldn't happen, that doesn't work, this is how you die if you did this, that's not realistic. I guarantee those exist. I guarantee they do.
Yeah.
But that would be hilarious to watch, just because there would be so many. But like, sometimes you just have to just let go and just be in the moment and enjoy it. But yeah. And then come the sequels. Then come the sequels. Oh man,
Yeah.
people have some interesting opinions on the sequels. The first film, The Force Awakens, I think is my second favorite Star Wars movie, coming in just below Revenge of the Sith, because I think Revenge of the Sith is an outstanding film, Obi-Wan aside. But after that, I think, I know, like, the consensus a lot of people have with the second film, The Last Jedi, is that it's like, it's become one of those things now. It's almost become like the whole Rick and Morty thing, where it's like, oh, you're not smart enough to understand why this is a great film, and I'm like, okay, I don't enjoy it, and like, that's my opinion, so respect it. But it felt very off watching that film. Like, to me, it's very obvious that it was directed by someone else, and yeah, it's just, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the last two films, but that's fine, you know. Yeah.
Are you hoping for more films after
Yeah,
this,
I mean,
or?
there are going to be more films. I think, so the problem is, I think, going into these new films, is that it's going to be a completely different thing. Because all the films they've done so far, they did the original 3 films, then they did the prequels, and then they did the sequels. But they've all been part of the same timeline and universe and that sort of thing. They're now going and taking, I believe, a untouched part of the Star Wars universe, like the High Republic. I don't know if that's something that does already pre-exist, or if it's something they're doing new. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do, because they're not going to be going off any, like, base material, or they're going to be going off very little base material. So, it will either do really well, or it will absolutely tank, and I don't know which one it will be. I think what they should try and do is whatever, I'm no genius, so I'm not quite sure what it is they did about Clone Wars that people enjoyed so much, but if they can translate that over into movies, that's what they need to do. More of that. Also, as well as doing your whole High Republic thing, go make movies on Old Republic. People love those games, and there's so much lore and stuff to do there, and so many interesting characters. Everyone wants Keanu Reeves to play Revan.
Yep, Revan.
Yep.
The infamous name.
So much
throughout.
stuff. Yeah. Like, if you know stuff about Star Wars, like, even if you don't know that much about Old Republic, you've heard the name Revan, you know? You've heard it. And, like, people were freaking out in the last movie, because I think, like, one of the ships or something, or, like, the fleet name or something, was Revan, and so they were like, that makes Revan canon in the universe, oh my god! Because, like, stuff like Old Republic isn't technically, like, canon within this, like, universe, but now that reference has been made, they're like, that means Revan is canon, that he existed at some point. Yeah. Which made a lot of people happy.
So I guess the main hope is for the next movies that they touch on, even the next, like, TV series, I would think would be something about the Old Republic.
That would, a TV show about the Old Republic, that would be interesting. I think something I personally hope for is a lot more cool lightsaber fights, because that's something that I very much enjoy. And, like, I go back and I watch a lot of Star Wars, and I'm like, there's a few, like, okay fights here and there, but, like, I'd love to see more of them, you know? I'd love to see more. And then I'm watching a lot more of Clone Wars, I'm seeing a lot more of that, and I'm like, put that in the movies. That would be interesting.
Let's put it in there. Instead of, like, I have, like, 1 or 2 criticisms about, like, the last few movies about their lightsaber duels. which is like they're a bit subpar than anything.
I think, yeah.
Like,
I think the issue with those movies is that like they're trying to convey that they're not particularly well trained in lightsaber fighting because they were never officially done it. You know, they only just went off what they could kind of teach themselves, which wasn't very much, and so the lightsaber fights weren't that great. But that didn't make it entertaining to watch. Like, it might have been realistic in that, oh, they wouldn't have learned lightsaber training properly, but I'm like, just teach them how to lightsaber fight and say it was the Metachlorians. That's what you do whenever something doesn't make sense to Star Wars. Oh, it was the Metachlorians. You know?
Metachlorians.
That's the excuse for everything. Like, that character's out of place. Metachlorians. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
The
will of the Force.
It's just Metachlorians.
Yeah. Basically, pretty much.
Alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, awesome. Alright, I think it's about time to get into some questions.
Heck yeah, I'm seeing some questions in chat.
Yeah. Alright, so we got the first question from the TikTok video from the lovely Moose, the Supergo,
Moose,
who is a big supporter of every single one of us.
Love you, Moose.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you feel the D&D community and the Star Wars community could learn from one another?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I feel I know we have a few good people who can do good transitions in the D&D community. But Star Wars community people take that shit to a whole new level, doing transitions, transitioning between costumes and stuff. I think that's definitely something that Star Wars community has the ever so slight edge on. And then as for what the D&D community could teach Star Wars community, I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know, really. That's interesting. What could D&D TikTok teach Star Wars TikTok? I don't know. I genuinely don't know for that one. That is a good question. I genuinely do not know the answer.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Transitions
are
always good.
The community in itself is pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, definitely in comparisons, they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Yeah. So we'll take some questions from the chat now. So from the lovely Sab, for you.
Hi, Sab.
If you had to restart on TikTok, is there anything you'd do differently?
Yes, I would make my first video me taking this cup of apple juice. Me just staring deadpan into the camera, dipping a biscuit in it, and just eating it, just straight in front of the camera. That's what I would do differently. Okay, I think one thing, being serious about it, I think the one thing I would do slightly differently is a lot of my first few videos I made outside of the app because I didn't really get the controls that well. The editing. The editing is massively improved since then, but being someone who is a massive perfectionist on things, I recorded a lot of the clips outside of the app and then edited them on my PC and then resent them to my phone. So I guess the one thing I would change is just learn to use the editing software, man. Just learn how to edit.
Yeah.
Which I then did, and now I don't edit videos on my PC anymore.
Now it just happens. Now it just comes out. But yeah, you know what? Here's a question for me, because Sab is an absolute wonderful person. How does it feel being an absolute style icon?
Yeah, how does it feel, bud?
Well,
how does it feel to be bringing sexy back?
Oh man, that's a stretch, but I know how to dress. I'd like to think I know how to dress.
You do.
But, you know,
Absolutely.
what's my most iconic D&D moment? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably, has to be in a campaign I played off stream back in my early days, where we were playing a level 20 campaign. It was nuts. Ben, bet you didn't. Bet you didn't.
I did. I told you I'd do it when you least expected it. I love how you knew. Just from the deadspan stare, I love how you knew.
I was like, I saw the stare and I saw you eat it, and I was just like, no. You know what? This has been my most iconic moment in D&D.
Oh, no.
This is it. This is as far as it goes. Next question. All right. All right. Here's a good one from the lovely gamer rake girl. Okay. Ben, you really threw me off. You weren't lying. Okay. If you could remake your favorite D&D characters, what would you change?
Oh man, that is a good one. I'm trying to think which character I would change and how I would change them. I think I would have made... Actually, no, because I was going to say I would have made Tarek a little less of an asshole, but I kind of did that anyway. Because he was originally, like, a massive asshole. Like, in the first ever one-shot I ran him in, he was just a dick and just betrayed everyone. Because I played him in one-shot prior to our streamed game. I'm trying to think, who would I change? I get, I think... Oh, yeah, no, actually, there's one thing I would change. One slight thing I would change about Tarek if I could go back and change one of his stats. Because I found out about this thing recently. There is a stat... So something I mentioned in one of the previous one-shots that I did with him. At one point, I played him as a level 10 warlock with 5 levels of fighter. And I mostly did that so I could get the second attack. What I didn't realize until recently, and then skipping through D&D Beyond and finding it, was there's actually an Eldritch Invocation that allows you to just have 2 attacks. Yeah. And I didn't know that existed until like a week ago, and I'm like, I would take that instead of boosting my stats. I would have taken that instead. There you go, that's the one thing I would have changed.
I think it's like Thirsting Blade or something. Very, 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 very good. But yeah, you know, I have a question. And I'm pretty sure you basically answered it. What's your favorite class in D&D?
Favorite class is specifically Hexblade Warlocks, because I like the combination of coming into D&D, something that I liked the idea of was being able to do like flashy, cool spells. You know, coming from a background of someone who watches anime where all the swords glow and do cool shit, I was like, I want to do that. So I was like, I want to be a melee fighter because I want to be up in people's faces and, you know, stabbing stuff. But I also want my, you know, swords to do cool stuff. I want to do cool bonus actions and spells and shit. And I basically got pointed to warlocks and went, yeah, warlocks do that. I was like, cool. And they're like, yeah, if you take like Hexblade and like Pact to the Blade and stuff, that's basically, you know, that is essentially what that is. And I was like, dope. Something I'm getting a little more into now is Paladins as well. But I definitely will always have that kind of edge towards warlocks because I like the whole patron stuff as well, because I love the idea
It's funny
of...
that you say edge towards warlocks,
Wow.
considering.
Yeah, because they're edgy. Yeah. I just love the idea of just being able to just have that worry every time your character goes to sleep of... So Warlock, your patron contacts you in your dream, and you're like, oh fuck, here we go again. I love that threat every
here
time.
We go again.
Yeah, pretty much. I love having that threat. It's great.
And I have another question, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Just for people who don't get it, but I know you will. What time is it there?
Oh god. Ladies and gents, it is 1 a.m.
Damn it.
Barely
Okay.
midday.
I was hoping for a second it was gonna be 2 a.m.
No.
because, as we know, when you're with the boys,
Oh shit.
2 a.m.
Gotta find
we
those
gotta
beans.
We gotta find those beans. and on that note, I think we're gonna end tonight's episode of Tea with Mr. V.
Yeah, it was really fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben, for coming on and answering some questions and being the lovely, lovely person that you are. Except for the no, Sab. I'm calling you out, Sab.
Somebody go
Sab
get
is
your
cool.
man.
Come get him. I don't want him anymore. Oh my god. Okay, well, thank you, Ben, for, coming in and ruining my show. Nah, I love you, man.
No,
you're
too,
a great
bud.
guy. You're a great person. If
Thank
you
you,
haven't
V.
followed him, what are you doing? Go follow this guy. He's
Absolutely. Thank you.
awesome. But yeah, thank you, everybody. We're just gonna do like a quick few announcements, just on like scheduling and stuff. So,
Mhm.
make sure to tune in tomorrow at like 6:30 EST, or is that canceled this week?
I'm not sure. There may be a stream tomorrow, so what you can do, if you want to know if there's going to be a stream tomorrow, is follow the stream, but also turn on Twitch notifications, that you'll get a notification when we go live. That's the one way to know.
There's still clarification on if we're streaming tomorrow or not, but just follow this channel, get some notifications going.
Exactly.
But yeah, then make sure to tune in on Saturdays at 4 p.m. PST?
Something like that.
Something
I believe
around
so.
there.
The timings we have a schedule on the channel if you want to know when they are. Check the schedule on the channel. If you click on our channel name, it comes up with like the VODs and everything. There is a schedule. We have everything on there now.
Yeah. But on Saturdays is the starting campaign, which is
Saturdays
on
for
this
the
channel
boys.
with BenDoesDnD. With
That's me.
him playing the lovely, lovely person that is Cade.
Oh, my boy. I have my little mini
boy.
here. I love him.
Yeah, he is the boy.
The sweet bean.
But yeah, and remember, make sure to come by every Thursday at about this time. Where next week, I'm pretty sure we're going to be speaking with another member of the starting campaign, Kenna.
Ooh,
So,
that's exciting. I was about to
sitting
ask
down,
who that was.
Yeah, it's gonna be lovely.
It's gonna be
But yeah,
wholesome.
thank you all for coming. And that's the tea.
That is
Alright.
that is the apple juice tea. Thanks for watching.
That is the apple juice tea.
everyone.
Thanks for watching. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.